Hello. Hold on. Let's we'll change that a little bit. Oh man, you know. Whatever. Anyway, let's see. I've got the. Let me check my settings. Yeah, that looks good. I think I have music really too loud. Turn that down. All right, I got some music playing in the background. That's 35 millimeter, by the way. You ever listen to that? Probably not, but you probably should. Let me check. Well, off to a bad start already. It doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do is cut all this from whatever the clip I use. But so how's everyone doing today? It's been a exciting first month, you know. We finished up with 2022. We're back into January. We're in 2023. I wanted to start my first stream of the year going over just 2022 in general. I'll do that first. I got another Warhammer article I'm going to read, and then go over some more jokes. I got more jokes. These ones, oof. Creme de la creme of jokes. Oh. Well, I'm trying to pull up an article. This one, and I got Chunks behind me. Get away, Chunks! Yeah, okay, so it's an interesting article too. Well, I just wanted to go over a couple things that happened during 2022. I had a different article I was going to read, but that's apparently bumholed. But anyway, 2022. Let's see. January we started off with wildfires. Still going through coronavirus. I mean, we're kind of now getting really out of that. I mean, I don't really, I mean, obviously they still talk about that stuff, but we had the whole Brittany Garner, whatever that thing was. We had that whole thing happen. We had a few, like maybe 4 big things I want to talk about. But I'm going to talk about it after just skimming through the whole year here. Twitter and Elon, that was a very big thing that happened this year. I got back onto Twitter because of that. I mean, because they unbanned Trump, which I thought was stupid that they did it in the first place, but whatever. So I'm back on there now, which is, I mean, it's the same as always, right? Kind of. I mean, it's a little bit different, but, it's no big drastic change. Everyone thinks somebody's gonna, like, save the world or something big's gonna happen, but that's why there's always that phrase of nothing ever happens. Chunks, stop it with the tree. This cat's going psycho. I don't know if I can change it over to show you the cat. Oh, look, there was a shooting that happened on May 14th. Exciting. Sweden and Finland began the process of joining NATO in May. Very exciting as well. Maybe a few formula shortage, not really that interesting. But let's see. We also had June 1st the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. That's one of the things that happened this year I thought was kind of interesting. One of the big 4 I think I was going to talk about, because I followed the trial decently. I mean, we need to get like some of the celebrity shit. I mean, but it's something to kind of do to drag you in. But I don't know. I thought the trial was very interesting in the way that like you kind of got to see how I guess like the media bias and stuff You know how things are like pushed in one direction. We want to believe things in one direction, and really with that was a clear sign. At least, I mean, I really wasn't watching a lot of like court stuff before that, but starting to watch kind of like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is another one we're gonna talk about later. I wish I watched more of that, but it's interesting, you know, because I remember. I think the two big takeaways from the whole trial. One is the real life of these news stories that we hear. You know, we hear these. You know, they're just quick things like Hulk Hogan. You know, the whole like sex tape that was taken of him and stuff like that. Like these are little things that we just hear about. They're interesting stories, but there's a lot of real stuff going on behind it. That's like, I don't know. It's not only kind of fascinating, but it's also really like, oof. Way more fucked up than you can really imagine than you get with like the main story. Because even like, okay, the stuff that the Me Too stuff we kind of heard, like him doing to her, it's like the real story of like, you know, stuff she did to him and stuff. It goes way far past that. I don't know. It's interesting. Mask off, kind of seeing a really deeper side of these simple stories, and kind of maybe a change in the direction of where we're going with, like, I don't know. Me Too. Maybe we had a couple good years there of we had to believe women. Now we don't have to believe women anymore. So of course, that's why I love this story. Back to ignoring women. Thank you, Johnny Depp. You did us all a service. What happened earlier this year too? I didn't quite, but you know, we'll go back to it. But the Russia-Ukraine war, obviously huge news, right? I mean, however you feel about it, one way or another, I mean, I guess everybody would probably feel the same way, but it's kind of like more your feeling our involvement in it. I mean, it's huge news, right? I mean, if we're going to World War III or not, or if it's just going to be like, I think our plan is to kind of make, which is funny. Okay, I think our plan is to make it like Russia's Afghanistan or something. I don't know. I guess maybe more like Vietnam, but I mean, because they already had an Afghanistan with Afghanistan, I think. So, but that I gotta talk about that too. But so I don't know. I think the whole thing is to just bog them down in this war. But I mean, my question is like, I don't know. I hear some stuff about casualties, but it's like a country like Ukraine. How long can they really last in a war with something that's got like so many more people than them? But I guess those really aren't the questions for me to wonder. What else did we? Oh, we also had January 6th. I forgot about that. So unremarkable to me that I completely forgot about that. But that was another exciting point. You know, it's kind of like a. I don't want to say. I mean, they're trying to make it. I guess it would be kind of like the George Floyd incident of the 2022, where it's like kind of the biggest event, I would say, you know, and it kind of was the thing that marked the whole year. Definitely in terms of news coverage and all that bullshit. But anyway, continuing on through that. More okay. We're getting to July here. Here we go. Something more exciting here. My birthday. We got a lot of stupid shit about Elon Musk on here. Whatever. Boris Johnson. England gets their first brown leader. You know, that's exciting. Protests. I mean, pretty much everywhere. Oh, October 9th. Kanye West makes anti-Semitic remarks. So remarkable. It's interesting. I mean, I guess it's because of how famous he is, but you know, it's these weird kind of similarities you see in everything. Of like, what was it? Michael Jackson, you know, did the same kind of thing. I think he mentioned the Jews a couple of times, and there's got to be something about just working in the music industry, man. I feel like that's got to be what it is, but I don't know. Anyway, God bless him. I hope he did the Alex Jones thing, which is must-see content for the year. If you haven't watched that, it's... I mean, I've heard it. It's like Andy Kaufman-esque, where it's like too insane to be real life. It's hilarious. I don't know. Anyway, I'll give that a watch. Probably the best thing to come out this year in terms of visual media. Nancy Pelosi steps down. Yeah, nobody really cares about that. Stupid Nancy Pelosi. Brittany Griner released. Let's see. Taliban. Oh, yeah. I think the Afghanistan thing, too. Did that happen this year or was that last year? But either way. So, we had the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which I always think it's something I didn't pay attention to enough, I think, when it was going on. But kind of like the Johnny Depp trial, I think it says a lot about hopefully the direction we're turning in and kind of maybe the zeitgeist. I didn't feel like they focused too much on it because it wasn't about what they want to talk about, which is, you know, white mass shooters. Once it became a little bit too obvious, it was self-defense. But I think that's the interesting thing about it, as the perception between reality and what we're fed, you know, because the news stories we got about it and all the media that we would watch about it, and it's like that feeds so much into our current mindset during the time, but it's so easy to see how, like, once you get away from this stuff, that's why I think it's fascinating. What I'm trying to do more is go back to current events that happened like a couple months later and stuff like that after they've all played out, and to watch it with a different set of eyes and to kind of see like how preposterous like current reporting is, how, you know, not like current, but like focusing on the news story. It's just insane. I don't know, very one-sided. But then you get stuff like this, and it's like actual proof does come out of like which side. And, you know, I'm hoping stuff like that and the Johnny Depp things are showing some people of what's real, you know, who's actually telling you the truth. That some people are just lying to you, just wanting to feed you little tasty little narratives. So yeah, the Rittenhouse trial shot people in self-defense, made it out to be like the biggest, craziest thing in the world. Which I mean, it was nuts too, because there was that. And then there was a Johnny Depp trial going on, and it was like the Johnny Depp trial was getting more attention, but it's like, man, the Rittenhouse trial got more attention than like the Chauvin trial, which I felt like. And I think it was actually more so. I think the reason for that was more so because they knew that Chauvin was like going to jail, and so they need to be more outraged to try to get this boy sent to jail. Also, we have there's a tiny little picture, but Roe v. Wade, the whole Roe v. Wade thing that happened, the patrolling, as we were going to call it in the future, where the thoughts were patrolled. Very exciting. My favorite part about, I don't know, I think it's interesting about the Roe v. Wade situation is like it's going to be, I don't know, it's not really going to change that much, but I think like with the Republicans being so focused on getting the courts, I mean, as long as they don't pack the courts, maybe it's interesting to see what direction we might be heading in with that whole mindset of hopefully smaller government and lesser and the smaller places making the choices, because that's the only reason why I really didn't give a shit about the whole Roe v. Wade shit. Is like, man, let other places that make their own rules. I don't need to tell everyone how to live. I'm blowing right through this because I'm just... let me read the rest of that article, so I really didn't care. So the next thing I want to move on to is my hits and misses of the year. So my good friend Frank, two of his songs I wanted to call out. Helpless, which definitely one of my favorites he's put out this year. Look at that, 9 likes. Good goddamn. So go over on Frank's page, like and subscribe, check him out. So this, it was this album and one other one. I mean, he released them as like EPs that I was really looking at as to picking out like kind of my favorite song from them, because I've listened to all this stuff. But now this album had very different music and like a vocal style that he was going for. As opposed to the other one, which I kind of like the other one more because it was more metal, but this is, I think, why I like this song the most. It definitely fits with the different a different little bit different direction. Less heavy metal, more like alternative rock and that kind of stuff. That and the background vocals he does, you hear that in there too? Like, ooh, so many layers. Lord. Yeah. Fucking metal. Different kind of metal, but yeah, you get it. So, check out this song. That really love that one. And Found Me Alive. When, you'll know what I mean about the vocals. Of course, I feel like the guitars. Like the guitars and the tone and everything. Sweet, tasty metal live, like, in my opinion. The reason why I put this one too is because I like the other one more, I think, as a song, but I found this one catchier. I find myself singing this one to myself a little bit. But you found me. Oh. Cool. Talk about metal. I got some songs. 2 songs I'm working on with Frank. I mean, I hope I get to put them out this year, and we finish them. But we're looking forward to that. I mean, maybe if not, I'll put one in this other album I'm working on with Joe. But so definitely 2 hits there for Frank's music. Definitely give it a check out. Next, I would pick my song "The Moment" as probably the one I was most proud of last year. I wonder if I can get copyright struck by myself. I don't know, maybe, but. So I enjoyed this one mainly because I was doing very different style, like kind of electronic, you know? Work differently on my vocals. You know, I should be doing that sound more, you know, whatever singing that is. I don't know. I think that vocal register for me works a little better for like verse stuff. So that's one of the things I liked about this. The structure, I think I did really well with the structure, catchiness, hooks, lyric-wise. Definitely closer to half of what SOBAN should be doing, you know, not my more metal stuff, but my more like regular shit. This is where I bungled it, I think, the most. The vocals for the chorus. I should have probably done a different register in this moment now. I don't know. But I feel like that doesn't quite match with the rest of the song, or it's just I fumbled it too much. I don't know. I mean, of course, all my songs have big old flaws. Here we go again. I like that sound, whatever that is. I think it's accordion or something. I don't know.
So much to get done, piled up on the rungs, push through it all. While I'm still young, put in the work, try to build something. Don't give up on yourself, you're strong enough to help them. Push yourself all day, run for your pay. Work is no fun, carry it for someone. Push yourself all day, run for your pay. Work is no fun, carry it.
Going over my list of.
But it's all so much. Slow down, make time, relax. It's not all on you, it's okay to live in these moments. Now slow down, make time, relax. It's not all on you, it's okay to live.
I can make use of that picture of trees. All right, we'll move on from there. So, Obviously, you can see here She-Hulk. I'm going to let everyone take a guess for a second. Where do you think that fits in my list of hits and misses? Well, I already made a video on it where I said it sucked. So, yeah, that was definitely in my misses. One of those shows, man, it bloggles. It bloggles the mind how stupid something could really possibly be. Oh, there you go, right? There you go. There's the twerking thing right there. Exactly. I don't know where to even start. With She-Hulk, I mean, it was just bad. It wasn't funny. It had no superhero stuff in it. Made no sense. Looked bad. Dumb. I think that about covers it. I mean, I don't, you know, it was between that and, of course, Rings of Power. Rings of Power had the opposite problem of, you know, it looked good. I mean, it was dumb, but it was stupid and long and pointless. Something that She-Hulk, one of the only things She-Hulk actually had working for it was that it wasn't too long, as opposed to Rings of Power, which was just, oh, God. If that was a 15-minute episodes, it probably would have been better. But that was probably the runner-up of the worst episode show. Well, House of the Dragon, I would say, was probably the best thing I watched this year, other than that Alex Jones episode. But, yeah, this was a hard one. I was trying to think of, like, shows that came out this year that were actually good, you know? And I couldn't even really think of anything that came out this year that was even worth, like, I don't know. Or even worth like thinking about show-wise, like sitcoms and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there was what. Oh man, even if there was a season of Rick and Morty that came out this year, I think we even tried to watch it, and it was like ridiculously stupid. Everything. I don't know what it is. Chunks, you done? But yeah, everything was bad. I mean. She-Hulk was written by one of the Rick and Morty persons, so it's not like that. We all can't just wait for Rick and Morty to come save us, because it ain't happening anymore. Since one of the guys got arrested for woman abusing. Speaking of Amber Heard, it's probably it's probably the same thing. Who knows? Maybe it's all blown out of proportion. Maybe not. Either way, we go back to not really believe in women, but kind of believe in women. Just, women. It's the way it should be. I won't waste my time pulling up pictures of everything else, but, oh, I'm about to say it. Hold on. There you go. You can see me for a little bit. So the, So the next ones I was going to go over, best and worst movies of the year. I think I already talked about this maybe once before, but let's do worst against first. I put Moonfall on there. I mean, that was terrible. I'm not quite sure, though, if I would say that was worse than Doctor Strange. Between probably those two, Doctor Strange was just bad on all levels, but I don't think it would really be, like, as bad to somebody who wasn't paying attention to Marvel stuff, wasn't watching it, didn't care. This cat's about to attack me. So that's why it was mainly interesting to me at the time, was because, I was into all the Marvel shit. And then, so yeah, if you didn't care about it, that stuff, as a movie by itself, maybe it wouldn't be as bad as Moonfall. Moonfall was just so stupid. It's just the concept itself, too. From the very beginning to end, dumbness. What's that? It's the moon! It's too stupid. Also, I put for worst movie, Glass Onion. If you haven't seen it or not, if you have seen it, who knows. Glass Onion was terrible. Didn't like it very much. It's like a bad... It's like a bad Seinfeld almost. Because I was thinking, like, the characters are like nothing. And it is like a movie about nothing. Except the characters aren't likable, At least in Seinfeld, you get, like, Elaine and George and whatever, these buttholes. But they're likable to some extent and funny. These people weren't funny, weren't really likable. really entertaining. It was just a bunch of assholes on screen sitting there watching them for a while. And then a baffling ending. It's like a, I don't know, it's like an exercise in wankery. You know? It's almost like, it's like Hollywood trying to punish people, punish the audience. It's like so everyone, hated The Last Jedi, and that became like such a thing or whatever, and all the hate put on Rian Johnson. It's like Hollywood. It feels like Hollywood would kind of all back him and be like, you know what, really fuck the fans instead. So we got to keep giving this guy jobs, keep supporting him, because screw these people. Even though it's really interesting because the support they give him is just for him to go and still attack, I guess, the same fan base or something. Just do the same shit, which causes the same thing to happen. But, like if they didn't, I don't know, if Netflix didn't support him and that kind of stuff, it'd just be done and over with. But no, I mean, I don't know. I want to say he can film a competent movie, but like, I don't know. I'm sure probably most people can, especially today with fucking AI and I'm sure things that like track shots for you and do all this BS bullshit. But I don't know. There really is no process like in Hollywood, I guess, because there's so many parts where we feel like, man, how could there not be some executive there sitting there saying, hey, man, you can't make this choice. You can't do this, Because that's what we get this feeling all the time that there's people there sitting there telling these people, like, oh, you got to have a strong female character or some bullshit like that, or a something, or this, or that, or this, you can't do that to a black person or whatever. But no. Because you think if these people were there that they would have stopped, like this is when it would be obvious because they would step in and be like, really got to destroy the Mona Lisa? I mean, can't you make it like a random other piece of artwork that's just really important to him? Or are you trying to elicit like a feeling from the audience on purpose? It's like, okay, so the next movie Rian Johnson does is just going to be Rian Johnson raping your mother for an hour and a half. But it's art. It's, you didn't get it, It's there to make you feel. It's there to break. You thought you were getting a movie. No, you're just getting an assault on your senses. Anyway, moving on from that, I think the best things to come out this year, I had a couple written down. Probably Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, everyone loved that movie, and I think it was a really good movie, though I didn't watch it more than once. I mean, most of these I didn't, but so I don't know if it would hold up on second viewing. But, it was kind of like everything you wanted that you got from, let's say, the new Top Gun movie. All these emotional beats and everything, but it was fresh and it was new and had, so that's why definitely the best out of everything so far for the whole year. I mean, I really enjoyed Bullet Train, but it really was nothing like, that's kind of like your average good movie. It really had nothing out of anywhere that was too interesting. Other than that, Smile, great horror movie. I thought it came out this year. I thought it was better than Barbarian. I don't know, simple, but I thought it was filmed really well, and it looked really well, and it did it what it needed to do really well. So, Men, a really strange A24 movie, which I don't think would really hold up that much on multiple viewings, but was interesting enough. I mean, there's a lot I get out of just watching a movie that gets you hooked to be like, what the fuck even is this? What the hell? But kind of gross at the end. So I guess it did have everything I kind of liked. And Northman, just, I don't know. Just a really good, I guess another one where it was like a really good, kind of like Bullet Train, where a really good like normal movie, where that's kind of what things should be. For some reason they're not. I don't know. Let's minimize myself back down. And before I move on to this article, last thing of 2022. Look, it shows me. This guy, Masayoshi Takanaka. I've been getting into some Japanese, like, jazz and stuff. This guy's great. Phenomenal. Ooh, I didn't see him. But, you give him a listen to. It's all, like, older stuff, too. But, I don't know what the kids call it these days. I think they call it Kino. But it's pretty exciting. Pretty good stuff. So, anyway. Moving on. Next topic. We got stupid Warhammer article I wanted to go over. Warhammer 40k. Polygon, of course, your bastion of cultural and musical purity. Here to set me straight. Warhammer 40k's new status quo is absolutely wild. Bobby G's back to lead the Blue Boys, and it's a big deal. Alright. The Warhammer 40,000 universe is nearly incomprehensibly vast, with 40 years of canon spread across game, books, novels, animated shorts, in-universe documents, and video games. One of those would be Fire Warrior, man. I bought that disc. I never could get the game to work. Still one of my biggest regrets, Fire Warrior. I knew somebody who played it, too. That, and, like, you know, you hear about those things. There's a video game once. Someone told me about this, Game Boy Dragon Ball Z game. They told me it was awesome. Another regret. Never got to play one like that. Anyway, there isn't any one narrative. Instead, this truly is a galaxy full of protagonists with their own stories, most of which are cut short when someone is eaten by a space bug, kidnapped by a sadistic space elf, or is corrupted by the X-dimensional forces of chaos. In recent years, some very interesting plot developments have unfolded. The God Emperor, his Primarch sons, and other key characters are starting to emerge from stasis. I don't know. I wonder if that's more like... it's because they had to go back to the Horus Heresy, you know, of like doing a prequel thing. Because, I mean, look at every other franchise in existence. They're all doing prequel shit as well. So, and because of that, now having to bring it into the the mainstream as well, which means stasis fields, which means Captain America is trapped in ice, which is basically Rabute Gilliman, isn't he? Yeah, it's basically Captain America. I'm wondering, is there Marvel superhero parallels with all of them? Probably, but whatever. The galaxy is now cracked in half, a chaotic maelstrom ripping across the stars. The Imperium is under new management, with a very stressed and sad man named Rabute Gilliman taking the helm. Sad man? I don't know. I don't know if that's an accurate description. Sad. He's a fucking Primarch. I mean, he'd be feeling things on way different levels. I mean, the way they describe them, first off, with their, their psychic powers and shit like that, but not only that, but like their level of thinking and stuff like that. And not like, I remember hearing like some things talking about like they had to remind themselves to be kind of personable with people and stuff like that because they're so far above being human that regular humans that are around for too long will start like looking at them like weird because they don't act human because they're so more evolved past that. So I don't know. Sad man, I don't really mix him as the sad Primarch. That would most likely be someone like Petarabo or like maybe Vulcan. I don't know. The God Emperor has rallied enough strength to burn the Garden of Nurgle, a chaos god of rotten decay. What inspired all of this change, and what does it mean for the 40k setting? It means Arcs of Omen. Ooh. Now I get to build basically the same army, but a little bit different. Because I don't need to have any troop choices, which is great. I don't know. Man, I kind of wish they would make... I don't know. Whatever. That's a whole different topic of conversation. Maybe I'll get into that later. If there's anything approaching a main character in 40k, the closest thing would be the Emperor of Mankind. He is a carrion lord upon a golden throne, rotting carcass that is barely kept alive by faith, ancient technology, constant human sacrifices, and sheer willpower. The Emperor, despite being a secularist in his time, is worshipped as a god by the vast Imperium of Man, who rules the stars. Well, yeah, they mainly rule the stars, but there's a lot of other people out there in the stars as well. Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, him hating kind of religion and yet becoming religion. I wonder if there really is like a catch-22 or something there, or like a paradox kind of thing. But, or, you know, it's what they like to do more often is just being like, well, it's the emperor, and this is all the emperor's plan because he's the perfect emperor. So, you know, it was his plan to eventually become, which there's a belief behind that too, is that the whole point is the emperor knew, you know, to defeat the chaos gods, he would probably have to become a chaos god or something like that, so he could enter into the great battle or whatever they call the great game with the other chaos gods and finally win. Because, right, maybe the whole thing would be over once one chaos god won the whole thing, right? And you can't have any of the other ones like Korn or Nurgle winning because that would be terrible. But if you had one like the Emperor win, well, and bada bing, bada boom, there we go. We got his whole motivation, and to get there, he would have to lie to his sons, which would make the horror, whatever. Anyway, if the Emperor fails, mankind fails along with him, as he powers the cosmic lighthouse that lets ships navigate the stars. He can only communicate with humanity fleetingly through tarot readings and visions. Interesting. I'm wondering, so like this is the secularist thing, like against the religion. I wonder if they chose like tarot cards and that kind of stuff. Maybe they should have done like a crystal ball because it's not really like set to a specific religion, you know. Like and visions, like if they made it like praying, that's still too kind of religious. Like people would communicate him through praying, which I guess they probably have stories like that in there. Anyway. A common bit of boilerplate text, often published as a foreword for most 40k novels, describes the setting as, here we go. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regimes imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. Not great. Well, things... were things always this bad? I mean, it's your opinion things weren't... that's not great. I think that's pretty good. It's kind of exactly what you want from your setting. Over 10,000 years ago, the Emperor was much closer to an actual man. He genetically engineered 20 sons to serve as his primarchs, generals to his armies, and extensions of his will. 2 of them were exiled under mysterious circumstances. Basically, Games Workshop being like, you guys make your own primarchs. But we know, as with all things, eventually they will come back. And God knows, with Games Workshop being the way it is, we're getting 2 Primarch ladies. 2. You know what that means? There's only 2. Alright? So one of them, it's got big boobies, and the other one's got a big butt. That's the way they're going to do it. They're going to split the female Space Marines into tit girls and ass women. And there you go. You got your female Space Marines. You got your 2 chapters right there. Tits and ass. And 9 fell to the corruption of chaos. As it turns out, the Emperor was not an aspirational figure. He's an abusive father and cruel dictator who was so terrible half his sons decided they'd rather deal with demons than continue to serve him. False. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on with the Emperor and trying to figure out like reasons for why things happen. So I think it's easy for a Polygon writer to be like, the sons didn't turn, the kids didn't turn out perfectly. So obviously, the parents did something wrong, right? The Emperor did something wrong. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's their worldview. Somebody doesn't turn out the way they're supposed to, or the way we think they're supposed to. It's somebody else's fault. It's not theirs. No. It can't be the sons made the choice to turn against the father. Though, what was pretty good about the Horus Heresy books, a lot of them so far, is they do try to make a... It's a pain in the ass, because they do try to make it somewhat sense that they would turn against the Emperor, which is like... It's not turning like against your father. It's like turning against God, which is way bigger, but they try to make it make some sense, like with Horus and what he sees with... not Angron, the Word Bearers guy, Fulgrim. Is it Fulgrim? No. Is it Fulgrim? Anyway, the Word Bearers, Primarch, and that kind of stuff. Seeing the future, and I the way I see it is that, the first Primarch who got to see into the future and saw that the Emperor would become a god, and that he saw the whole thing as just hypocrisy from his father. I have a feeling that all would have probably happened regardless of the Horus Heresy or not, right? Horus Heresy doesn't happen. There's no great, war between all this stuff. Thousands of years down the line, hundreds of thousands of years, I still think they're going to be viewing the Emperor as a god. So, I don't know. I don't really see it as it being, necessarily part of some great plan that the Emperor needs them to turn against him. And I also really don't see it as I don't know. Because that's the way I would see it more being his fault directly. That he needed his sons to do these things. But, I don't know. I guess, come up to your own opinions on that. Polygon Raiders. The Loyalist Primarchs were largely lost, dead, vanished, or otherwise unavailable. Just pooping, taking poos. Ferris Manus just sitting on the toilet. Boop, boop, boop. While the Horus Heresy novels, which have ran since 2006, explore these characters in depth, the Primarchs are largely figures of myth and legend in the modern day. That changed in 2018 when Horus' successor, Abaddon the Despoiler, came out of nowhere with the metaphorical steel chair. He destroyed the world of Cadia, the imperial world that held off chaos, and opened a great rift amongst the galaxy. Oh great, now things are even worse for everybody. I mean, okay. That change. First off, I don't know. There's 13, 14 Black Crusades. Abaddon's always been kind of the successor trying to do something, but yeah, he never really made progress, and they go back and try to make it make sense, but I don't know. The other question is, too, destroying a whole Blackstone fortress to destroy Cadia. I don't know. Some people think that doesn't quite make sense. The Abaddon just kind of failed again. Whatever. At least Cadia is destroyed. There's something actually happened, and now they're moving forward. So, say what you will for that. There was one upside of the 13th Black Crusade in the opening of the Cicatrix Maledictorum, the Great Rift infused with the Chaos energy from the mysterious realm known as the Warp. Rabute Gilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines, lovingly referred to by fans by the nickname Bobby G or Papa Smurf. I think the biggest nickname I've heard is Rowboat Girly Man. The Rowboat Girly Man, yes, was restored from stasis. Gilliman had been put on ice thousands of years ago after an injury left him on the brink of death as he stopped the what's his name? Red Skull. Whatever. But now he's back. He hates absolutely everything about the Imperium. Of course he would. He's mad at his dad, the Emperor. He thinks the whole God thing is pretty messed up. And in general, he would prefer the Imperium prioritize the accumulation of skulls a little less. It's kind of hard when you need about 1,000 psychers a day to die for his dad to keep the light going, but kind of rack up skulls that way. And it's kind of hard. What are you going to do about the Imperial Guard? If they're not dying, they're backing up the ships. There's too many of them. They gotta die. Gilliman is sealed in the armor of fate to keep him alive and is seen as a demigod by everyone around him. All the while, he's trying to figure out concerns like picking up paper with his chunky war gauntlets or finding a chair that will fit him. He also has to deal with the fact that his father's Imperium is now split in two, with a dark Imperium on the other side of the rift that is cut off and under assault by chaos. Now, what I think they'll do with this, splitting the Imperium in two, So they got a lot of problems, right, that they're dealing with right now. One of them is trying to make Chaos a bad guy, a big bad again. Because the problem with the 40k universe is there's all these bad guys. You got like the Tyranids, you got the Dark Eldar, you got the Orcs. Yet none of them really stand chance against the Imperium because what they show, how massive the Imperium is and how they're always able to, of course, fight off, these hive fleets and these tomb fleets and what all the other things is because they've got such massive, domination force in the galaxy, and that it's the feeling we're supposed to get is that they're barely hanging on and that kind of stuff. And so you got it split in half now. If they don't keep Chaos holding like the middle of the galaxy or whatnot, which they probably will to keep Chaos a force, what they're going to probably do is, because Imperium is too strong, I think they're going to go back to trying to tear everything down even more. We think they're not going to go super grimdark. I think they're going to try to make the setting less grimdark, the situation worse, and then build it back up to something. So I'm thinking they're going to split the Imperium in two. Gilliman's going to be on one side. He's going to, he doesn't like the way the direction Imperium is. He's going to kind of Imperium Secundus, like his plan was before or whatever, but do that with what the Imperium is now. And on the other side of the Imperium, something else is going to grow. And now they're not going to be like bad guys like Chaos, but they'll turn into a different form of the Imperium that will fight this form of the Imperium. Now, it would be interesting if... the lame thing would be like on the other side of the Imperium, Luther comes back. And Luther leads them, and then they, fight through the chaos, and Gilliman and Luther meet in the middle and hug and kiss and caress each other and fall in love and gayness. No. It'd be more interesting if, like, Bute Gilliman brings half of the Imperium to, like, new heights or whatever of, like, technology and less grimdark as they try to move forward, and as they fight through the chaos and meet back with the other side of the Imperium, the side of the Imperium's kind of regress the other way, where less secularist, maybe they're more so just pure religious zealots, about the Emperor, and kind of see Bute Gilliman as like another son who maybe is turning against the old ways and that kind of stuff. And so they have like another faction of the Imperium, two big sides of them, because they've got all these people with Space Marine armies that are always fighting each other all the time. Got to make it now. You can make it make more sense where it's like there's the people who really think they know the way. I mean, it's a lot of things that happen with religion, right? Is you got people who really think they know the way and people who really, really think they know the way, right? And I mean, come on, you already had Horus, which was one of the Emperor's sons, the lead of rebellion. So I don't think it's that far for people to be like, I know Gilliman, you're ruling that side of the galaxy, but still think it crazy because you're not the Emperor. Anyway, in recent years, Gilliman has been leading an indomitous crusade across the stars to try and restore the Imperium. Unfortunately, he's the only loyalist Primarch left in the setting, for now at least, because we know other ones are coming back, and the demon ones, maybe they'll even make one of the demon ones good or some bullshit, who knows. And so his demonic Primarch brothers will target him for their revenge and bullying. Just gonna like flick his ears from behind, pee in his cup. The flip side is that the Cicatrix Maledictorum, combined with 10,000 years of worship from trillions of human souls, seem to have plumped the Emperor full of power. In the book God Blight, Gilliman's Primarch brother Mortorian pulled him into the warp to slay him in Nurgle's garden. But the Emperor was able to heal Gilliman, use him as a vessel to burn down Nurgle's garden, and then revive his son fully, which is a power play that we're not used to seeing from the big guy. Yeah, this is why also another thing I think they're going to be doing is, like I said, moving the direction of making the Emperor like a god in this setting, like real god. Like, don't be surprised if in like 5, maybe 10 years, there's a big centerpiece model of the Emperor himself as like a star god kind of thing, or like a giant. You know how they did with like the Necron kind of stuff. I could see them doing it. Some energy being, and then everybody's army has the fucking Emperor in it. Yay. Because we all need Abaddon and the Emperor fighting every game or some bullshit like that. But whatever. The Arcs of Omen story, along with the boarding actions game mode, seems to be setting up a new chapter in this story. Angron, another Demon Primarch, will star in his own Arcs of Omen book, along with Abaddon the Spoiler and Vashtor the Archifane. Fulgrim, a Demon Primarch of Slaanesh. It's not Fulgrim. Then who is the Wordbearer's one? Whatever. Is apparently active in the galaxy as well. Of course, I mean, maybe he'll be the one that flipped good. On the flip side, it does seem like the scene is set for the other Loyalist partners, like the Dark Angels. Lionel Johnson, yeah, the Lion. That's another one, right? Oh, that's the one I was thinking, the Lion to return. Or they could flip it on us and... Rogal Dawn's back! Everyone's been so excited for Rogal Dawn. Not really. Warhammer's 40,000's plot moves very slowly, but we just might see a big old family reunion this coming year. Chances are, much like everything else in 40k, something will go horribly wrong, grim and dark. Yeah. The only interesting thing is more so like, you know, they released a new army, the Votan, and yet they kind of have nothing to do with like the progression of like the story. I don't know. You think if they're leading to like a Primarch coming back or something like that, they I don't know, bring like the Votan into it, have some kind of purpose. I mean, they did that with the Eldar and Gilliman. I know they weren't releasing Eldar as a new army or anything, but whatever. You would think that they would try to match it somehow. All right. Anyway, let's see some comments here. Lehman Russ. Yeah, Lehman Russ may be a better one to bring back because everybody loves you goddamn Space Wolves, don't you? Oh, I know I do. Let's see. What do I got in my downloads before everybody goes crazy looking at? I don't know where I put that. All right. Well, I think we're getting pretty close to the end of the night here. Let me go back full screen here. So, last but not least, let's move on to jokes. We're doing jokes, everybody. I got a lot of jokes written out. This, pretty bad. All right, and welcome to Jokes. This is the part of the evening where I've written down a bunch of things that we're going to see if they pass for comedy. And remember, comedy is subjective. So the answer is yes, these are all jokes. So, and just remember, it's just jokes, people. It's just jokes for fun. For fun. We're having hee-hees and ha-has. Hee-hees and ha-has and hoo-hoos and doo-doos and you-yous, okay? Anyway. A pimp is technically a thought leader. Technically a thought leader. Yeah, chunkers. Yeah. Next one. Gherkin and Dill are great names for a pickle-based cop duo. I'd watch that show. It sounds hilarious. Gherkin. They got me, Gherkin. They speared me. Don't worry. They didn't turn you into chips. Anyway. Conspiracy theory, people. Conspiracy alert here. Here's one of my theories. Hairless cats aren't real. There's people out there that are just shaving cats. Very possible. We found out that the crop circles weren't real. This is people going out there shaving cats. Anyway, man, this is a joke. Is it a joke? I don't. Is even a joke? Whatever. Man, I miss the old Wendy's dollar menu. I remember the good old days. You'd be able to go in there with just a couple of bucks and be able to openly assault any woman on the premises. Wow, what the days were like before Me Too happened. It's good times. Good times, poor old Wendy. The difference between men and women is how they value a comfy, soft blanket. Kind of true, I think. It's not really a joke, I guess. But here we go. This one's a joke. Critical race theory is a theory written by someone who puts a lot of importance on winning races. Gotta win that race. It's critical. Long John Silver's was the most sexually confident of all the nautical heroes. I believe that to be true. That was probably the best one I've ever come up with, the Long John Silver, whatever. It's just, like, you couldn't get away with Long Johnson Silvers, that's for sure. Women think being a man is just as easy as farting and burping and being stinky. They forget the hardest part. Force-feeding ourselves so we're gassy around women. No gas, no ass. That's what they say. All right, next one. Never ask a Jewish prostitute for change. Just more life advice coming at you from Fat, Dumb, and Angry. I would imagine if you're a socialist, you'd probably be pretty good at a party. You know. Be sociable. Anyway. We call... Oh. I gotta brace myself for this one. A little bit more voodoo. We like to call nurses, everybody, heroes. Because we are all secretly hoping for a hand job on our deathbeds. That's not a hero. I mean, doctor couldn't save me. Should at least give me a hand job. There is no coincidence that the word correct has erect in it. Male privilege. Pants have stopped more rapes than feminism, even though that isn't the point of feminism. Though now, because of feminism, women can now wear pants. So I guess the jury is out on that one. But let's just hope the jury, wherever they are wearing pants. That's a journey. I gotta write my jokes like that, where it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, weed is the best drug because weed is the best drug because it can be combined with brownies. But just imagine, cocaine brownies. That'd be good. The N-word makes me believe in magic. Just try saying it and see if not everyone disappears. Anyway, that's a bad one. What? I got worse ones than that coming up, I think. Anyway, what's the difference between a 3-foot iron pole and a bushel of Granny Smith apples? Many things. First, I got to figure out what a bushel is. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Why am I here? Who am I? Anyway. People ask if reverse racism is real. It is. And they... I'm going to do that one over again. Yeah. People ask if reverse racism is real. It is. And the only way to counter it is with the sexist full Nelson. I love that one. I don't know why. I love that one so much. Incel stands for involuntary celibate, not to be confused with splinter cell, which stands for splinvoluntary celibate. What a waste. What a waste of a good laugh. Laughing at midgets is one of life's little joys. Gay sex was probably hotter before they legalized it. Tip to you pedos out there. Rude. Rude and gross. All right. Ugh. Here we go. Only a couple more. I'm running out of jokes here. They say when you ask a guy how many sexual partners they've had, most people say that they will multiply it by 3. They will also say that girls will divide it by 2. For me, I take it to the square root of pi. You should see the girl's face when I tell her I've been with 5 3/5 girls. 3/5 girls. Not going there. Not doing it. You can't make me. I won't. The decimal was funny enough. We need no more jokes. Okay, anyway. A male lady is another name for a trans woman. You know, male lady, like the one who brings you your mail. Whatever, that was a bad pun. Oh, Jesus Christ. I read a news article that said African Americans are terrified of the police. Finally, they know how others feel around them. Jesus Christ. That's fucking awful. Whatever. In the same article, they said that the oppressed live in the oppressor's world. So that's why white people can't understand the black experience. Yet another one of many white privileges, a natural immunity from ever having to understand black people. Now, if only we can get that for women. Then, us white men will really have something going. It's not our fault we can't understand people of color or women. At that point, I just do whatever we want. And we're right back to where we started, I guess, from 200 years ago. Anyway. Eskimos have 51 words for snow. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say. They either really got to be running out of things to talk about, or they just really like snow. Oof. Killing all the politicians is a conversation the politicians just aren't ready to have yet. Very, very close-minded. That was a bad one. I don't know. I thought that one was a good one to say at the time. Anyway, sometimes I wonder what the point of everything is. And I look down and I realize the penis. It literally is the point of everything. Well, except Jewish men. That would be the nose. And last one, because we're going to go out on a whimper, not a bang. Sometimes I wonder if I'm retarded. And then I realize, no, retards are happy. All right. Well, I'm going to clip this. That'll be fun. Thanks for stopping by for jokes. Have a good night. I'm going to go play some video games. Other than that, if you've made it this far, I'm working on a new album. I've made a lot of progress with it. I don't know when I'm going to put it out. I was thinking maybe October again this year, but I haven't really decided. It's going to be mostly written with me and my brother. I might make it about Warhammer. Who the fuck knows? But so that's looking really good. I think I'm going to record like a drum solo tomorrow. I got to make that Invincible Armor video, but I got shit in the hopper. I'm going to try to do more videos like this too every now and again, but No one's gonna watch the live stream, so but I'm just gonna clip them just for the fun of it. All right. Well,